Next on Worcester News Tonight, video captures dozens of kids riding bikes through one of Worcester's busiest intersections. Plus, could Worcester be hosting a AAA All-Star game in the near future? One city councilor hopes so. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Kim Jandro. A parade of bicycles riding through Worcester's Kelley Square sparks concern in the neighborhood. For some in the area, it's been a problem for quite some time. Cell phone video captures dozens of kids riding their bikes through Worcester's Kelley Square. Kevin Johnson lives in the neighborhood. He says this happens a lot.
Especially all through the summer. Especially through the summertime, coming through here and going down these side streets. These kids just, do what they choose.
The incident took place Monday afternoon around 1 o'clock. The video also captures someone on a dirt bike cutting through the intersection, holding up traffic. Worcester Police says enforcement on situations like these can be difficult.
We don't want to cause any accidents based on our actions, so we do have a couple officers, especially in the warmer months when this tends to be a bigger problem, assigned to plain clothes.
Lieutenant Sean Murtha says more than anything, it's a public safety issue, especially for the young people riding the bikes.
This kind of thing, it certainly is unsafe having a group that big. I didn't see any helmets in the video either. Kelley Square obviously is tough enough for cars, let alone people on bikes.
Last year, the state listed Kelley Square as the most common place for accidents in the state, which makes incidents like Monday's alarming for Johnson.
It's very dangerous for the drivers, first and foremost, and for the kids. And I believe a kid might have gotten pecked like last week. He wasn't sure, but because they don't care. They're worried, they're busy having fun. They don't care about the safety of the drivers and the people involved.
Is it concerning, The victim in the fatal stabbing at O'Connor's restaurant made several efforts to protect herself from the man who is charged with killing her. Amanda Dubrowski tried to file for a restraining order against her ex-boyfriend Carlos Asensio because she feared for her life. Asensio stabbed Dubrowski to death at O'Connor's restaurant in July. Tim Murray was among a group of people who tried to stop Asensio inside the restaurant. The former lieutenant governor says it's a tragedy and Dubrowski did everything she could to protect herself.
The judge granted it. She took all the precautions. She engaged her family. I mean, she did everything that you're supposed to do when threatened with domestic violence. The question is, how did this individual get back into the country with outstanding warrants? And, first and foremost, her family and people that knew and loved her want to know that as well as other people, because it's a failing in the system that needs to be fixed.
Asensio was suspected of trying to kill Dubrowski months prior, breaking into her home. Authorities said he fled to Canada and then Mexico. How he got back into the country is under investigation. The National Transportation Safety Board releases its preliminary report on the crash of a World War II-era B-17 at Bradley International Airport earlier this month. 7 people were killed and 7 others were injured when the plane, part of the Collings Foundation Wings of Freedom tour, veered off the runway after returning to the airport shortly after takeoff. According to the NTSB report, most of the cabin, cockpit, and right wing burst into flames. The report says maintenance records revealed the plane had passed its annual and recent progressive inspection. There were no issues with the fuel supply and the weather was not a factor. The cause is under investigation as the NTSB continues to examine parts of the wreckage. Could Polar Park be the site of the 2022 AAA All-Star Game? One Worcester City Councilor hopes so. District 1 Councilor Sean Rose has requested the city manager speak to the Pawtucket Red Sox front office about making it happen. Rose says having the All-Star Game in the ballpark's second season would introduce Worcester to baseball fans across the country.
And so we now would have the capacity in terms of hotels and different opportunity to bring in a large group of people into the city who normally wouldn't be here. The other thing is that these All-Star Games are typically sponsored by big-time corporations and entities, so it's just a massive shot in the arm for the city overall to have somebody like the AAA All-Star organization and the AAA affiliates of minor league baseball come to the city of Worcester.
Worcester hasn't hosted a professional All-Star game since the Sharks hosted the AHL All-Star Classic in 2009. The Polar Park construction project is exceeding goals for hiring people of color, women, and is closing in on its target for hiring Worcester residents. Numbers given to the Worcester Redevelopment Authority show so far almost 19% of the hours worked are by city residents. The project's goal is 25%. Goals on employing women and people of color at the site have been surpassed. Recent Census Bureau information shows Worcester's population is growing, especially in the 25 to 34 age range. It's a good number for the city, who has worked for years to attract and keep a younger worker. Here's our Chandler Walsh with the details.
It's part of the continuing story of Worcester growing and changing.
Data from the Census Bureau shows adults ages 25 to 34 are moving to Worcester at a greater rate than any other age group. The Worcester Regional Research Bureau says it's long been the goal for the city, and they've made adjustments to downtown to draw people here.
So that there's walkability, there's foot traffic, and there's people living, working, and enjoying downtown.
The Research Bureau's Paul Matthews says there's significant retail and residential growth downtown, and more employers are looking for skilled employees. Some say as Worcester grows, it's becoming a more exciting place to live.
The new residential and market down by Kelley Square, I feel like that's one attraction that's up and coming. There's also the stadium that's being built around there too.
Worcester is expanding compared to where it used to be. There's a lot of new people coming in from Boston, from New York, from all around.
Matthews says it's hard to tell if Worcester is attracting this young demographic at a faster rate than other cities. He says the Census Bureau's next 5-year report will show long-term trends.
This is a positive development for the city, and it's one where the city is frankly reaping dividends of a long-standing focus and commitment.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
The effort to lift the state's new vaping ban went to federal court today. However, the attorney for the vaping companies looking to end the 4-month ban failed to file the proper paperwork, so nothing was decided. The companies filed suit after Governor Charlie Baker announced the ban last month. They claim it's essentially a death sentence for their businesses. They have to file an amended complaint by Friday. Tonight, a special town meeting in Auburn will vote on a proposed bylaw to reduce single-use carry-out plastic bags. If passed, the ban will take effect in April of 2020. In May, voters overwhelmingly supported a non-binding referendum to ban single-use plastic bags. Exceptions would be allowed for items like frozen food, fresh meat, produce, and prescription medications. The Office of the Town Clerk says results should be finalized sometime Wednesday. The date of trick-or-treating will not change in the city of Worcester this year. Tuesday, Worcester City Council decided to keep festivities on October 31st as opposed to the last Saturday of the month. Councilors said there was not enough time to review the changes. City Councilor Matt Wally had proposed the idea of moving the date, citing convenience for parents, as well as allowing earlier start times for trick-or-treaters. Wally hopes to continue the conversation on this issue for future Halloween seasons. The Worcester City Clerk's office is reminding residents of the deadline to register for this fall's municipal election. Wednesday is the last day to register to be eligible to vote in November's fall election. Worcester's municipal election includes races for mayor, city council, and school committee. It will be held on Tuesday, November 5th. The Auburn Police Department is warning people of a paving company they say is known for doing shoddy work. According to Auburn Police, the company is uninsured and has been seen going door to door looking for work. The company is called Firmbase and they have an address in Westboro, but Westboro police say they are not registered in town or in the state. Police in Marlboro also say they've caught crews soliciting work several times. The police are warning residents to think twice before hiring this company and letting them on your property. Area police and fire departments joined forces Tuesday in the fight against breast cancer. Several departments teamed up with TreeHouse Brewing Company as part of the Pink Patch Project. First responders sold the patches to raise money for the cause.
Great avenue to try to get the word out there, and the proceeds go towards a multitude of different organizations that help breast cancer research and treatment.
This is the first year TreeHouse has hosted local police and fire departments for the cause.